There is nothing like a handmade gift for the holidays. If you're looking to bring in some extra cash for the holidays or looking for some gifts to make the family this year, this video is just what you need. This is episode 9 of Stuck on Sawdust. Buckle up.
Buckle up for safety, motherfucker.
What's up, YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to be going over some woodworking projects that 1, are easy to make, 2, can bring in some big profit for the holidays, and 3, would make the perfect gift to give to a family member or a friend. With Christmas right around the corner, there is still time to make these simple projects with a limited amount of tools. So let's start with this riser. This thing is 18 inches in length and about 3 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And they've got an assortment of these that you can choose from to make. So we're gonna make all of these that I've seen online, and I'm gonna show you how quick and easy it is to get this done. That way, if you're in a time crunch, you can get these done before the holiday. And I'll break down the cost for making them. And I posted them online and they just sold 3 days ago. So I'll show you the profit margin I made if you're interested in the profit aspect of these projects. If not, they're still the perfect gift. Let's head to the table saw. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to be using some 3/4 inch AC sanded pine plywood. You can make these out of any stock you want. It could be pine, maple, elm, walnut, so whatever you desire you can make these out of. I'm going to rip this piece down to 5 inches. Now let's head to the miter box. So we're going to start by building this one, and these are 45-degree miter joints. Super simple. We're going to do a continuous wrap around with the grain of this plywood. So let's go ahead, and we have one end that is square already. So we'll go ahead and cut the right side of this leg at 3 inches, square to long. So there's our right side of the leg. Now what you want to do is spin your piece around and cut your long point right up against this shoulder of the short point that we just cut off of here. That way the grain can stay as continuous as possible. Now this measurement is going to be for the top of it at 18 inches, and that's long to long. So now we need our left leg, so we're going to do the same steps. We'll go ahead and cut our bevel right here at the shoulder of the short point, and then pull from there 3 inches, and that's going to be long point to square. So take your bevel back to 0 and make this cut. And let's head to the assembly table. So when you put your pieces together, your grain should line up just right. So I'm just going to use some tape and make sure our miters are lined up perfectly. And just tape the very corners here. One on the top and one on the bottom of your piece. Same thing down here. Them damn chickens, I swear. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and apply our glue. Really? I'm so sorry, guys. And just lift them up. And you can either add some brad nails to it, or in this case, I am just going to use some tape to act as a clamp going across, just like so. Make sure everything is square, pull tight without pulling too tight. Double check for square, and we'll set this aside to dry. Okay, so while that one dries, we're gonna make this one. And this one is super simple, cut and dry. It's just square cuts, no bevels, nothing fancy about it at all, except the wood. So make sure to pick a good looking wood. It can be pine as long as it has some cool grain or some good stain quality or some burn into it with a torch, which is what I'll be doing. So we already got a cutoff from building the other display riser. So we're gonna just take and cut this at 16 inches long for this one, square to square. Now I wanna take and cut the feet for it. My feet are gonna be 3.5 inches wide by 5 inches long, square to square. Now let's head to the assembly table. Now for this one is so simple and cut and dry. Super easy to make, and you can make it with whatever wood you like. And the more unique species you use, the more you can get for it as far as profit. But this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm just using some 3/4 inch stock plywood. And add some wood glue, make sure everything lines up nice and flush to each other. And pop a couple brads in it. And it's literally that easy. So for this one, I'm going to soften up the edges with a 45 chamfer router bit. And there you have it. I like that a lot. Gives it a little bit of life. Now for these are super simple as well. They're all square cuts, and they are 16 inches long and 4 inches in height is the one that I'm going to be making. So let's go ahead. I've got some stock ripped down to 5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my side first, my right side, at 4 inches. Now I'm going to cut my top at 16 inches. Ooh, actually, I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. I have enough here. I like that knot right there. I think that gives it some good character. So I'm going to scrap that right side at 4 inches I just cut, and then cut another one. So I'm going to measure over 4 inches again, and let me see if I can get this knot in my top. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, let's do this over. We'll go 4 inches. That's my right leg. And now I'll pull over 16 inches, and my top will have that cool little knot in it. And now we'll cut one more at 4 inches for our left leg. Let's head over to the assembly table. I'm not liking the 4-inch height. I'm actually going to cut it down an inch. I think it gives it a little funky, brittle look. I just don't like it. So we'll cut an inch off of both of these sides here, making sure our grain stays intact. So we'll take them off of the far sides, 1 inch. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be much better. So these are pretty cut and dry. We're just going to add some wood glue, and then just line them up with the edge. Now you can either clamp these or you can brad nail them in place. I'm going to clamp this just because I don't want any nails in my piece. Make sure you're nice and flush to your edge. Let's go ahead and double check for square. Absolutely. And let's do the next side. You can give this a rub joint, which pretty much just makes the glue suck the other piece into this piece. It's called a rub joint. And really, you could walk away from that, but I'm just going to clamp it just for caution. Grab our clamp. Make sure we're nice and flush. And that rub joint should help hold it in place while you clamp it. That way you don't get any movement while you're clamping. Oh man, that's nice. All right, we'll let this dry up. We'll come back and torch everything and apply some lacquer finish to them, post them on Etsy, and see what happens. We're gonna go ahead and get all these sanded down. Now we're going to take and blow them off. I want to get rid of all that loose dust. And I sanded these down to 150 grit, which is perfect. Now it's time for the fun part. We're going to go ahead and torch all three of these and post them on Etsy as a set. I'm gonna let these cool down just a little bit, and then we'll apply some lacquer finish. All right, so it's been about 20 minutes, and I'm just gonna apply a light coat of lacquer, spray lacquer. And it just adds the perfect color when you spray it with this lacquer. I mean, it brings it right to life. You can see the difference just next to the other ones. Well, I'm gonna finish spraying these. I'm not gonna bore y'all with taking all the time spraying them, and I'll meet y'all over at the workbench and we'll get these posted online. All right, well, we just published these three as a set on Etsy, so we shall see how long it takes them to sell. I published them for $85, which I think is a fair price. Shipping is included. I calculated shipping by inputting the weight of these into my shipping app, and the shipping cost came out to around $12 for anywhere within a 500-mile radius. I offered free shipping for that radius of 500 miles, and then anything over, they have to pay for the shipping cost. In the meantime, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing if you like the content, and like, comment, and share. And for those 2 or 3 dislikes I keep getting on these videos, don't just dislike it and go. Tell me why. Thanks. We'll see you as soon as these sell. Hey guys, I enjoy responding to all of your comments, and I do respond to every last one of them. I'll be sharing some of my favorite comments at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are 4 days later in 8 hours. So it didn't take long, and these things sold pretty quick for $85. I was super happy that they sold. They sold to somebody literally about 30 miles up the road from me, and I just drove them to her house. So she was super ecstatic with them, how they turned out. And these are definitely a project you want to consider making if you're looking to make a few extra bucks for the holidays. She actually bought them for a gift for her daughter, who has some stand-up display stuff for her jewelry that she wants to set on it. So that was perfect and worked out better than I thought it ever would. So as far as the cost of these to make them, I used some AC pine I had laying around the shop, which was 3/4 inches thick, but you could use a 1x8 and just purchase one at your big box store. Get one that has a little bit of character to it, and you can apply some stain and really brighten this thing up. But you're looking at around $12 for the 1x8. For the finish, you're looking at about $4. You're looking at about $16 to get this project built. It took me a matter of 15 minutes to build all 3 of them, and it's definitely worth it and right up my alley with the profit I made. And the reason I priced it at 85, okay, look at what they have one of these priced at. Just for the one, okay? So I think I was pretty reasonable with the price. And plus it was made out of pine. It wasn't made out of anything exotic. So I didn't want to overprice them, but I think I nailed it right on the head at 85 for those three. I mean, this one alone is almost 80 bucks. So yeah, I think I did the right thing with that. But just to give you an idea of price range, this is for one of them, and it's just made out of some spalted maple, which is a common wood, but it's really beautiful. So keep that in mind. The better species you use, the more you can make. So as far as another great quick gift you can make for the holidays and also packs a big ass profit are these candle holders. I'm here to tell you, I've sold probably 30 of these candle holders within the last 4 or 5 months. And they got all kind of price ranges from $30 upwards of $160 I've seen. But typically I keep mine right in between at around $75 and they sell super quick. Basically, I just looked at their design and kind of figured it was a little bland and I wanted to add a little bit of spunk to it. So what I did was made one of these. It holds 5 candles and it's got these figured walnut feet on it. You don't have to go with the figured walnut. You can just do standard pine. The actual candle holder itself is a piece of heart pine. And literally this thing with the walnut is almost as good as white oak and walnut. Not quite, but still pretty good looking. Now the one I'm going to be posting online and trying to sell to see how quick I can sell it and how much I can sell so I can share it with you guys. This is 13 inches long, okay? And the feet on it are 5 3/4 inches wide by 3/4 inches thick. I ripped my piece of 3/4 inch walnut at 1.5 inches and cut each foot at 5 3/4. I then pulled up from the bottom 3/8 of an inch and cut a miter at that mark at 22.5 degrees. I then took my 2x4 and set it center of my feet and marked out that 2x4 to then dado it out at my table saw. Take your time with this and get it right. It's an inch depth dado. Now just clean up your cut with a chisel, do a test fit, and glue this bad boy up. Pull your measurement, get your stuff cut down to size. So how I figured out my layout for the holes is I measured the bottom of the candle, which is about 1 3/4 inches, and I have a 1 7/8 Forstner bit, which is perfect to fit this in, so it gives it a little bit of play, and it just sits right in just like that. And the layout, when I had 13 inches, I just took and played around with my calipers to figure out the layout, and it worked out to be about 1 1/4 inches is what my calipers were set at. So if you set your calipers at 1 1/4 inches and cut your piece at 13 inches, it should lay out for every other caliper mark is the center of your hole. So those are the numbers that I used. And be sure to skip one caliper mark at a time. So take for instance, I'm laying out, that's going to be my first hole right there. And then I'll just continue along with my calipers. This mark will not be a hole, obviously. And then your next mark will be a hole. And then just find the center of your candle holder, which mine is 3 1/4 inches. So 1 5/8 inches would be center. And if you don't have a marking wheel like this, you can just do this with, making a couple marks with a pencil. It's not that difficult. So just set your wheel to 1 5/8 inches and then lock it in place. And then you can just run it down your 2x4 and it'll mark out the center for you. And then you can either take a punch like one of these and just punch in your mark right at the center. Take it over to your drill press, or if you don't have a drill press, you can just use a handheld drill and drill out your 5 holes. I'm gonna go ahead and post this online and see if I can get what they're asking. So I literally just posted it and went upstairs and had a bite to eat, and I came back down and checked on it, and let me see if I can get this to pull up. There it is. Loading. Check this out. I'm asking 75 bucks for it, and it's already in 20 people's carts. That's literally about 2 hours after I posted it. 20 people are already considered buying this thing. That's crazy. Oh, it says 20 in 20 plus carts. So who knows how many people have already put it in their cart. So I have a feeling this is gonna sell in just a few minutes, but as soon as it does, I will let y'all know. Well, guys, it sold immediately after I stopped filming. No, I'm just kidding. I could bullshit y'all, but I'm not a bullshitter. It took another 2 days for that candle holder to sell, but eventually it sold. So 2 days, 2 hours, they finally sold. I got the 75 I was asking, and I got to ship them up to Virginia. It's either Virginia or West Virginia. Shipping is going to be around 12 bucks, so not too bad, man. The 2x4 that I made it with, that cost about $2.75. The walnut feet for it, I had some leftover walnut, but if I were to put a number on it, I'd say about 75 cents worth of walnut. And then the finish, just a shellac finish, that was about $1 worth of finish. So, man, that profit hit right when I needed it, and I'm very happy with it. I just wanted to show y'all realistically that 2 days and 2 hours after I posted them for a reasonable price, they sold. Now, my shop is about 2.5 years old, so I've got some momentum behind me already. If you're just starting out, the likelihood of you automatically selling things could be high because you actually get a boost when you first post something. So just make sure you use the right keywords and the right tags, and you should see some good success. But stick with it, even if it's tending to kind of drag on. Like the display risers I posted took like 4 or 5 days almost. And I started to get a little worried, like, well, am I asking too much for them? But, you know, sometimes people just tend to want to put it in their cart. And then I also, okay, in all fairness, have a sale activated where if somebody puts something in their cart, it automatically sends an email to them with 10% off. So if they put it in their cart and then they just leave, about, I think it's like within a couple hours, my Etsy will automatically send an email offering 10% off. And most of the time they'll click right back on it and buy it. So can't complain there. But this one, they just sold outright for 75 bucks. No sale added, so I'm happy. Well, you guys, that does it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. This video is one of my favorites that I've made just because of the complexity of breaking down all the shipping and the costs and showing you that these are sellable items. Make sure for this year's Christmas that you get these projects built and shipped out, and you'll be packing some big ass profit. I'm Daniel, and this has been Bearded Viking Woodworks. Thanks, guys. Go make some sawdust.